Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about the best heroes to use for story. And now, if you do enjoy content like this, make sure to subscribe, join the community Discord, and leave a comment. I'm not going to be editing much in the video unless, there's a disturbance or anything because it's more room to talk and I'd like to leave you, my genuine thoughts on everything without having to cut stuff out. Now, the best heroes in story, obviously there isn't, a set meta standard or a meta precedent for story. It's not difficult enough to warrant that, but like I've said before many, many times, there's more efficient ways to play Guardian Tales, and there's less efficient ways to play Guardian Tales. So if you want to be someone who plays Guardian Tales more efficiently, this will be how you play the game, right? So let's begin. First off, we're going to cross a list off here. Monolock heroes, characters who are locked specifically to a singular element and only good within that element, are not going to be great for story, right? Simply because they're just not going to be versatile or splashable across many teams. You're not going to be able to comfortably use them as a new player because you're not going to have a lot of the characters you need. And this will be addressing early and mid game players because a lot of you all still manage to struggle at that point, which is perfectly fine if you don't, try hard on the game or focus on, a lot of the game. You might struggle. It's fine. Nothing to really worry about. Now, there are a couple issues I want to point out first, and that's tanks. Your tanks, you have great options. You should only be using one out of three of the tanks. You can even run double tank. That's fine, but please never go triple tank, okay? It's so not worth it, and if you're having to run triple tank, it's just skill issue at that point. I'm sorry, okay? If you run triple tank in story, it's a major skill issue. So, tank-wise, you're going to be wanting to run either Ogma, Future Princess, or Craig. Now, 2 out of the 3 tanks you get for free. So, you have no excuse if you're running someone like Marina or, some other really sketchy tank or another melee character as a tank, right? For example, Arena. Don't bother, please. Okay, next up is healers. Maya is going to be your go-to. You get her for free as a new player, and if you don't have her, you have other options like Lorraine, Aoba. Sia's not free, but she might come around relatively soon because it's been some time she's been here. But anyways, now let's talk about the hardcore carries. Now, because tanks and healers are generic, and most of them can be splashed on pretty much any team, with the exception of stuff like Karina. For that, you can refer to my top 5 healers list. And yeah, we're going to talk about the main hardcore carries of story. Now, the first one is going to be this isn't, a numbered list. We're just going to be talking about them. And I think the most common one is going to be Future Princess. She gets you through the 2 biggest, beginner difficulty spikes, which are Worlds 10 and 11, and you get her for free for clearing World 9. So she's a very rewarding character to build in that regard, where she'll take you through the times where you're struggling the most. But she no longer scales or progresses as hard as she used to, but she's still a great investment option. So yeah, she's definitely a hardcore story carry. She provides a nice party buff. She does pretty good damage in story. She has a one-hit weapon skill. You don't get her EX for free, though, so, you're going to have to work around that, right? So if you're going to want to run her as lead or as your main carry in story, you're going to need her EX because free-to-play Future Princess without her EX is a fine tank to use. But you can't really run her as a lead without her EX because it's no longer, as strong. But she's a great option, so do keep that in mind. She's great. Next up is Beth. Beth can pretty much single-handedly solo all of story comfortably if you have her EX, right? She is a character that does not function nowhere near as powerfully without her EX. Beth without EX and Beth with EX is like heaven and earth, man. You need that EX for Beth to function properly. But if you do get it, with it, you don't even need a full-blown melee team. Beth, Maya, Craig, and then, Future Princess, Ogma, pretty much any other support healer or tank, and you're going to be breezing through story, man. Beth has so much damage, so much tankiness. Her base stats are good. She constantly provides herself a shield based on the damage she does. And her special ability, once you fully evolve her, she becomes absurdly tanky and does so much additional damage based on the enemy she's facing. And in story, you're going to be swarmed by enemies, especially in passages as you get further and further on. So yeah, she becomes super, super powerful at soloing through all of that. And with a healer like Maya, it's going to be really, really tough to do anything. And this is one of the teams where I think double tank is really powerful because you're going to be protecting your backline even harder. So, yeah, Beth is a super top-notch carry for story. Future Knight, no longer, as powerful nowadays due to, just more characters being available. But Future Knight's not a bad option. She's just, how would I put it? She's just worse Yunha where she's not that good as Yunha, but she also doesn't do the same things as Yunha, right? So if you have to pick between Yunha and Future Knight, always pick Yunha. But Future Knight's not bad. She's just not that great nowadays. She's in a place where she's good to use, but she's not great. She's just really generic, splashable DPS. That's pretty much her entire kit, really. That's it. She's not bad. She's good. Okay, not much to talk about there. Mariel is super, super powerful, okay? Her DPS is insane. Her party buff is good. Her special ability is really good. Her chain skill is just so much damage. If you have her weapon, she provides a lot of defense, earth-type defense shred. Her movement speed gets really good. She is super good at kiting. She does so much damage. She progresses really well into the game due to her dogfighting capabilities and much more. Oh, and did I mention, she's also part of, the best mono earth comp. She is just such a strong hyper carry. MK99 has started to fall enough, but she's not bad, right? She's pretty good. She's pretty much in the same spot as Future Knight, in my opinion, where she's good, but not that crazy. So if you have her and you're running her with a built team, it's fine. You're not going to, all of a sudden start doing crappy. She's good. She's good, but nothing crazy. Lilith, I don't think Lilith's worth using if you don't have Beth. Lilith without Beth is just a lot less impactful, and you're just better off running, ranged comps, especially considering that Kamael has his banner coming up next week. So Lilith's pretty good, but without Beth, she's really not that great. Now, Eleanor, I'm going to mention here, even though she's not, a hyper carry, but she literally makes Mono Light so powerful. So if you're running, a Mono Light comp, Eleanor is a must. Okay, something like MK99, Gabrielle, Eleanor, Future Princess is a nasty Monolite comp, and it's going to be really powerful. That's one of the few exceptions I'll make, because Monolite without Eleanor is so much weaker. Next up, we have a character that a lot of you and everyone, I think, just knows, and that's Kamael. I don't need to say anything now, do I, right? Range damage, party buff, range defense shred, full party heals, AoE, DPS. Like, dude, great chain skill. What else does man need? What else does man need, right? He does everything. He literally does everything, and he made me back out here, okay? Claude. Literally. Nothing else to say here, man. Like, dude, range damage, defense shred, primarily dark type defense shred here, but it's still really good because it boosts its own DPS. Damage boost, damage resistance, a great chain skill, great party buff. His weapon makes him literally even more powerful. He gets a buttload of sustain here. He gets even more DPS. He gets even more, party protection through attack drop on enemies. He does everything. Like, there's such powerful characters here, right? And Andras. I am a hardcore Andras connoisseur. Okay? I am someone who would tell you to use Andras in story. And give me as much hate for that as you want. I am a hardcore Andras enjoyer. I don't care. Anyways, she is just a pure DPS machine. Literally, that's what she is. She does have defense shred and stuff, but she is just a pretty much bot. She's just a DPS bot. That's all she's gonna do. She's gonna do. She can't literally do anything else. She just does damage and a bit of defense shred. Outside of that, she has a range damage party buff. So, as a lead, if you're new, it's not a great option because you're gonna be getting, tapped really fast. But First Corps Commander isn't really a hyper carry. She's more so a sub DPS / support. As a sub DPS, she does fine. She does decent damage. She provides a crit chance party buff, decreases enemy attack and stuff. She's good. She is good. But she's not really a hyper carry that can one-shot through story. But she is good, though. Don't get me wrong. She's great on most teams. Her mark allows her to have a generic mark defense shred, which is really good. Next up, I'm actually going to mention Kai here. But he's pretty good. He scales relatively well because you can run him on one-shot arena comms. But you can't really do that as a new player because you don't have the raw stats needed for it, right? One of the things that's going to block you from doing a lot of things as a new player is just your collection bonuses. You're not going to have them as a new player, so even if you have all the characters, all the gems you need, you're not going to be able to do much there. But Kai is good, but do realize he is primarily used with melee teams, but you can technically run him on some hybrid comps. But in that way, Rosetta is just better if you're going to run hybrid comp normal attack boosters. But anyways, next up is Yunha. Literally just Kamael. Exact same kit. Literally the same kit. So, just, they work together because Kamael is range defense shredder and Yunha shreds basic defense, right? So, that does work. In case you don't know how defense shreds work, the same type of defense shred does not stack. So if a character like Nari is lowering the enemy's range defense by 20%, and Kamail's also doing the same thing, it doesn't become a 40% defense shred. It's still just a 20% defense shred, because it only accepts the highest value, and 20% and 20% are the same value. So it's still just 20%. So you only get the usage out of one of their range defense shreds. So in that way, Nari would be wasted there. However, Yunha shreds normal defense and Kamail shreds range defense. So that they still benefit from that, though, just so you know. Range characters benefit from a lowered normal defense because it's just defense that's they're benefiting from, but they won't benefit from melee defense drop. So do realize that. Anyways, Yunha literally just Kamail. I don't need to explain it there, right? Light Shapira, pretty much same situation as Kai. Not that bad, but primarily on a melee team. In my opinion, Kai is miles better. Now, this is a hyper carry that I think is so powerful, but very difficult to invest on in early game. And that's Ascended Karina. Ascended Karina is a ridiculous DPSer, and Great has super powerful healing within a dark team. A combination of Claude Claude and Ascended Karina will just blast through story comfortably. You won't have to worry. And if you're running something like, Ascended Craig and Agma alongside that, you just win. You just win. You're so tanky, and you have so much additional damage and healing. It's super powerful. Super powerful. But once again, the issue with that is you can't comfortably build Karina without having to, slow down your training room progress for unlocking the max limit breaking option. So do keep that in mind. You're going to be giving up some power there. So try to work on 2 max limit broken unique heroes before that. And yeah, I do think those are the best heroes for story. They're super powerful, super versatile. They fit on most team comps, if not all team comps, right? So yeah, that'll be it. That's pretty much the video. And if you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. And yeah, I'll see you all around. Bye. Yeah, I know, some of you guys don't like that bye, but I like seeing that bye, okay? And people have told me it's a zesty-ass thing to do, but I don't care.